Today is nice and sunny, still a little bit chilly, but yeah, it's been really good weather.
Kilimanjaro!
When is the best time to climb Mount Kilimanjaro? This has to be one of the most common questions we get asked here at Follow Alice, and for very good reason. When it comes to preparing for Kilimanjaro, the timing of your trek is absolutely critical. The weather, the crowds, and other seasonal factors can all impact not just your experience, but the challenge, risks, and likelihood of successfully reaching the summit. So it's extremely important to choose right.
Yes.
In this video, we will break down and compare the seasons month by month, discuss their pros and cons, and reveal the best and worst times of the calendar to climb Mount Kilimanjaro and explain why.
Never doing that again.
I don't think so.
Along the way, we will share some expert tips, tricks, and hang around until the end as we'll be highlighting a few noteworthy ideas and special dates in the calendar for those who love a big occasion or something out of the ordinary. So, what are we waiting for? Let's get to it. The weather is everything. Now, as you might expect, the weather really is everything when it comes to timing a high-altitude mountain trek. It impacts just about every single aspect of your trek and will ultimately dictate when to climb for the vast majority of people.
This is dangerous.
Located only a stone's throw away from the equator, Mount Kilimanjaro lies in a region of northern Tanzania that enjoys warm, pleasant temperatures year-round. Many of us, when we think of Tanzania, will imagine lions shading under acacia trees, escaping a blistering hot African sun, or hippos cooling off on the muddy banks of the Mara River. But don't let this fool you. Don't expect to sport khaki shorts and a sombrero all the way to Uhuru Peak. In fact, regardless of when you climb, you will experience everything from sultry rainforests to icy Arctic conditions and everything in between. You will journey through 5 distinct climate zones, meaning that within the span of just a few days, you will be swapping your short sleeves for 2 pairs of thick thermal socks and a big, puffy down jacket. This is what makes Mount Kilimanjaro such a unique mountaineering experience, but also means that you will need to pack an entire wardrobe of clothes for every season. While Mount Kilimanjaro remains open to climbers all year round, there is a high seasonal variation throughout the year. The weather system in this part of Africa produces 2 distinct seasons, 2 wet and 2 dry, each with differences in average rainfall, visibility, humidity, and temperatures, making some months more favorable and optimal for trekking than others. A quick disclaimer: before we proceed, we want to remind viewers that our aim here is to equip you with the most valuable information and insights at hand. But please keep in mind that Mother Earth has her own plans. The weather can be very unpredictable, particularly at high altitude and on the mountainside. And while the seasonal patterns are a great guide and signpost, you should be prepared for any weather scenario regardless of when you climb. Our top tip: be prepared for everything and embrace the adventure come what may. Chapter 2: The climbing seasons in depth. For most people, when it comes to choosing when to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, the key is to avoid the heavy rains. Here at Follow Alice, we recommend climbing Mount Kilimanjaro during the 2 dry seasons, anywhere between mid-December and March, the short dry season, or between June and October, the long dry season. It's at these times that you're most likely to enjoy the most favorable weather conditions on the mountain. For starters, the rainforest zone receives the least rain at these times, so this means drier and therefore safer trails. Believe me, hiking and camping in persistent heavy rain is far from anyone's idea of fun. Furthermore, in the dry seasons, you have the clearer skies overall and more sunshine, promising more expansive views across the face of Mount Kilimanjaro and the endless African plains below. Not to mention more opportunities to witness some of the most majestic blazing sunsets and sunrises you'll ever see, a spectacle that is far less common during the rainy season, when storm clouds and haze often obstruct the horizon. And finally, it's also a little less hot and humid at the lower altitudes in the dry seasons, which makes for more pleasant hiking conditions towards the beginning of your trek. Short or long dry season? Okay, so you may ask yourself, are both the short and long dry seasons exactly the same? And no, they do have some noticeable differences between them. From a pure weather standpoint, the most optimal time to hike Kilimanjaro is during the months of June to October, the long dry season, as there is the least rainfall, minimal cloud cover, and the temperatures are most perfect for trekking. Temperatures are their coolest and most comfortable at lower altitudes in the rainforest and moorlands, but slightly warmer near the icy Arctic summit. As for the short dry season, which is December through to March, it's not uncommon to experience a spot of rain or cloud, but it's nothing like the extremes during the rainy seasons. Temperatures at higher elevations are at their coldest at this time. At the peak, we're talking temperatures around and even below minus 20 degrees Celsius or minus 4 degrees Fahrenheit. It's always very cold at the summit, but from December to February, it has some extra bite. These colder conditions also produce the most snowfall of the year. Uhuru Peak, blanketed in freshly fallen snow, is an absolutely gorgeous sight, but it can be more tricky to hike through and it can reduce visibility at the top. All things to bear in mind. But to summarize and reiterate, both dry seasons are absolutely wonderful times to trek Mount Kilimanjaro, and we're more than happy to strongly recommend either.
Enjoy the view.
By the way, before we continue, for anybody seeking a more comprehensive look and understanding of climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, we've dropped a link in the pinned comment to our ultimate Mount Kilimanjaro PDF guide. It's completely free and offers a depth of detail and knowledge that we simply cannot cover in a short video. From a breakdown of the different Kilimanjaro routes, a comprehensive packing list, critical safety advice, physical preparation, and much more. In case you were unaware, Follow Alice is a leading climb operator on Mount Kilimanjaro, with a decade of experience, KRTO accreditation, and near-perfect client reviews across all platforms. So rest assured that the information we are sharing is reliable and built on true veteran experience. And if you like what you see, we'd love to have you join one of our treks. Feel free to get in touch and one of our friendly team will be more than happy to chat and support you in every way they can. We've dropped a separate link to our website and itineraries in the description for anybody interested.
Everyone putting their rain gear on because it's wet.
The rainy season. Most climbers opt to avoid the rainy seasons, which occur from April to May, the long rainy season, and in November, the short rainy season. These two wet seasons experience lingering rain showers and thunderstorms in the rainforest and moorland zones. Rainforest temperatures during the long rains are also the warmest of the year, and humidity is high. So people unused to humidity can find this pretty unpleasant and challenging. Furthermore, cloud cover is substantial and visibility low, obscuring many of the beautiful views and panoramas along your journey. The rainy seasons can also mean muddy trails and slick rocks, which can be tricky to navigate. After heavy downpours, some trails can even turn into mini streams and rivers, so it's unsurprising that many folks take a tumble during the rainy season and accidents increase, making this the most treacherous time of year for a Kilimanjaro climb. For all these reasons, April, May and November are best avoided by most people. We do not recommend it. What if you want to avoid the crowds? With favorable weather conditions comes a surge in the number of climbers on the mountain. The dry seasons are understandably the busiest on Kilimanjaro. That said, the very busiest months on the mountain are those that coincide with the summer holidays in Europe and North America, late July to September. It's important to book a spot with a tour operator well in advance if you want to climb during this peak season. During these busier months, camps come more alive with groups, tents, and activity, and certain sections of the trail experience small pockets of crowds, with the Barranco Wall in particular being a bit of a choke point. For anyone seeking to avoid the heights of the crowd, you are faced with two good options. One option is to climb from January to March during the quieter months of the short dry season. Conditions are favorable, albeit a little cold at the summit, but crowds are noticeably thinner. A second option is to select a quieter route on the mountain. The 7 Kilimanjaro routes are a big discussion for another time, but the Northern Circuit, for instance, is always a notch quieter at any time of the year. It's also one of our favorites and is considered one of the most beautiful routes on Mount Kilimanjaro, but because of its longer duration and higher cost, it remains a quiet option year-round. Before we move on, we want to stress that Mount Kilimanjaro is not plagued by crowds. Even at its busiest, it is a colossal mountain and landscape, with your journey spanning dozens of kilometers over many, many days. So regardless of when you climb, you will find countless moments of pure solitude and large sections of emptiness on the trail. So please don't worry or be put off of climbing during peak season. Quick recap. Before continuing to our final section on special dates in the calendar for climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, let's quickly summarize what we've covered so far. The best months to climb Mount Kilimanjaro are during the 2 dry seasons, anywhere between mid-December and March, the short dry season, or between June and October, the long dry season. From a weather standpoint, the long dry season is the most optimal, but is more crowded. We strongly recommend against climbing during the rainy season, from April to May, the long rainy season, and then November, the short rainy season. And for those looking to avoid the peak crowds, we recommend climbing in January, February, or March, and/or selecting a quieter route on the mountain. Last but not least, a few special dates for the calendar. To end this video, we promise to share a few dates in the calendar that could add some extra shine or pizzazz to a climb. If you're somebody that loves a big occasion or things out of the ordinary, these could be for you. For one, you could consider a full moon climb. Timing your summit to coincide with the full moon can really elevate the experience and is nothing short of pure magic. FYI, most groups summiting Mount Kilimanjaro begin their final summit ascent at night, so the moon and the night sky plays a big role. During a full moon climb, the mountain is bathed in a glow of white moonlight, creating a mystical and lunar-like landscape of illuminated craters, valleys, and glaciers. It's pretty out of this world. Another spectacular idea is to climb on New Year's Eve. This is in fact one of the most popular dates to climb Kilimanjaro, and it's understandable why. Bringing in the new year while perched almost 6,000 meters above Africa with the world at your feet and adrenaline pumping through your veins. Yeah, for the thrill seekers out there, it doesn't get much better than this. So there you have it. Feel ready for the adventure? For anyone interested in joining a Mount Kilimanjaro trek with us at Follow Alice, feel free to check out our website link in the description to take a peek at our departure dates and itineraries. With nearly a decade of experience on Mount Kilimanjaro, KRTO accreditation, and near-perfect client reviews across all platforms, you're in very good hands. So feel free to get in touch. Our friendly team are always on hand to discuss and offer their advice and expertise for a trip. We're here to help. Thank you again for watching our video, and please like and subscribe for more informative adventure travel content. Your support means everything to us. This is Jess reporting from Follow Alice. Safe travels, everyone.